Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for the 30th meeting of the Lake County Board of Commissioners. Would all those who are willing and able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Grant us, O Lord, light to our understanding, prudence in our investigating, foresight in our planning, sincerity in our deliberating, the grace to follow truth in our judgment. Help us to be moved in our decision neither by fear nor by self-interest, and to do our work faithfully. May we respect the authority vested in us, for thou art the source of all authority, and may we use in our directives for the common good and for thy honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here. Okay, this brings us to our first public comment portion of our meeting. Do we have anyone in the audience wishing to address this board? Anyone wishing to address? Do we have anyone in the audience? Yes, Brian, come on. Got to start the day off with a little humor. It's raining and lightning. Come on now, as you come to the podium with a clap of thunder in the background. Very dramatic.
Okay, serious. Brian Massey, representing Lobbyists for Citizens, 8196 Rainbow Drive. I want to make sure that the commissioners are aware of what's been happening with Lobbyists for Citizens. I received a piece of fan mail. I let Mr. Hackman read it before I started, just so that he was up to speed on it. And it's not signed, but basically that's somebody that is not really happy with Lobbyists for Citizens and our investigative work.
Then you've succeeded.
I know that I'm over target, that is correct. But they're saying our 501c4 in support of Becky Lynch and Faith Andrews and promotion of their articles is clearly in violation of your nonprofit status. What Ms. Lynch and Ms. Andrews send to us are press releases that they send to the newspapers, News Herald, and to us, so we publish that. We try to provide a platform for all, not just Republicans, not just conservatives. Mr. Lime and I are good friends. We're on opposite sides of the political spectrum, but we are, what is extremely important, people must understand that there must be room for opposition, and you must allow others to speak. So that is what we try to do. But there's another addition to this that concerns me. I went to the Board of Elections, and I asked a basic question: is there a problem if Brian Massey runs for public office, whatever public office it is? And the response was, as long as Lobbyists for Citizens is not sending any checks from their account to Brian Massey, who's running for office. I said, well, that would never happen. The conversation developed, I guess, into, well, you have to be very careful that you don't run afoul of the Board of Election laws and that you are, promoting a candidate and or your influence, I guess the phrase was influencing an election. Well, we consider ourselves to be a newspaper, and Commissioner Hammercheck, you mentioned several months ago that we were considered a newspaper. It was also suggested that I get a lawyer involved to make sure that I don't run afoul of the law. And I thought it was our constitutional rights, be it the federal constitution or the state constitution, that we can be a newspaper and we can also run for public office, and the two are not in polar opposites to each other. I think I'm correct in that. Do the commissioners have any feedback for me? I mean, Commissioner Hammercheck, you did agree that I was a newspaper, is that correct?
I would say media. In discussions with Chuck Colson, our prosecutor, he referred to Lobbyists for Citizens, media. I think that's an accurate description, which is, I think it came out of the litigation. That was some of that discussion back in the day. We kind of had to, how we look at you, look at your organization, the way things are presented. If I'm not saying it 100% correct, when I get that curious look. I'm looking to legal, Lobbyists for Citizens
Well,
itself. They're an online presence. I wouldn't say newspaper, but media is the word that comes to my mind.
Commissioner, I guess I've never really looked at that, but the litigation itself, my recollection was that it was more of a complaint with regard to an alleged violation of the Open Meetings Act.
Sure.
I don't recall, and I could be wrong, the media portion being part of that.
I think it was more of a side conversation. I apologize
Okay.
if I misrepresented it as being part and parcel. I think it was more of a discussion point.
No. But I will say this, with respect to Mr. Massey's comments, he did show me the letter just prior to the meeting. And are you going to read the letter, or?
I don't know if we've got the time. It's probably not as pertinent, and I know that there's some things going on today that I can make copies available for the commissioners if they so choose.
Well, I will just add this one editorial comment. If Bloomberg can run for elected office, I don't see why you couldn't. So I didn't see anybody lining up against Bloomberg. So I'll just throw that out there.
Okay. Well, again, to those that are that may think about coming after Lobbyists for Citizens, I say bring it on. Thank you very much.
Do you want to add anything, sir?
No, I was just going to, I'm not going to pontificate about the nonprofit issue. I just wanted to say I appreciated Mr. Massey's reaching out to me just before this meeting, and if I read their letter correctly, one portion of it seemed to imply that too much time was spent on records requests. Fair statement.
That's correct.
And Mr. Massey, when he gave me the letter, he said, I don't expect a comment from you, which I appreciate that. But I did feel compelled to comment that those are his records that he requests. They're everyone's records that he requests, and they are fully entitled to those records. There is a reasonableness time frame with the production. There's also other laws or things in place. Not everything is available. And I did also indicate to him that I've always had and always will have a problem with anonymous letters. If you're going to say something, put your name to it.
Put your name to it.
That's
sure.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Hackman.
And I will say also, I believe this board, we also send press releases to you. So it's
That is correct.
So
that is correct.
It's not just exclusive to our clerk of courts and our county recorder. So
That's correct.
I believe other agencies, including our auditor, I believe, is sent.
And to mention their names in a letter, I think is totally inappropriate. They don't deserve it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, do we have anyone else in the audience? Sir.
John Music, 45 Coventry Drive. In regards to records requests, I've done many over the years, and people have to realize everybody that receives a paycheck from a government organization works for the taxpayers. And for somebody to request some information, that's part of the job. I mean, everybody's entitled to see what is going on within all of our governments. So I don't think any open records request should be taken in a negative way whatsoever. So I just wanted to pass that on. Just like this morning, I called all three of my Congress members and I give them all my name. Like Mr. Hackman said, give them your name. If you're going to say something, put your name on it. So I just wanted to say that, hey, Brian, records requests are fine in my opinion, and we as taxpayers, we have a right to know what is going on in all of our governments. Thank you.
Indeed, as I often say, I have 234,000 bosses. So that's the population of Lake County, for those who may be wondering where I got that number. Okay.
Mr. President,
sir.
Just for my part, I simply want to say thank you to John Music, Brian Massey, and anyone who makes public records requests, because you're the ones who hold government accountable. It does require work, but we thank you. It's a patriotic duty to be informed, to know what your government's doing. So for those who take the time to actively learn, you deserve a thanks.
Very good. Anyone else in the audience? Okay. Jason Boyd, do we have any electronic submissions?
Good morning, Commissioners. We have 3 submissions this morning, from Friday to this morning. One does not have a city. The other one has a city and an address, so I'll begin with the ones that have their address kind of.
And then that has been our policy, that we want people to identify themselves electronically as they would if they were here in person. If
Correct.
you're identifying yourselves electronically, we're not accepting anonymous, or if information is required in present is not there. So just give it to the clerk if for some reason.
So yeah, there's one that only has a name, no address. Do you want me to submit that to the clerk, or shall I enter it?
If I recall it was a similar theme.
Similar theme. So I'll read the two that have an address. First one, Dear Commissioner, begin quote, Dear Commissioners, the proposed construction of a new jail in Lake County is a massive and expensive undertaking. A capital project of this magnitude should not be decided by the county commissioners alone. This should be on the ballot for all of us to weigh in on this. Please, on this one, this big one, let the voters decide. Sincerely, Ron Prosek, 7439 Case Avenue, Mentor. And comment, second public comment, begin comment. The issue of whether to build a Lake County jail at a cost of $100 million cannot be left up to 3 county commissioners. Absolutely place this issue on the ballot. $100 million expenditure should have voter approval. Diane Linden, Mentor, Ohio. There's a third one that does not have an address, but it is a similar theme, and I will hand that to the clerk for the record.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, and all right, no additional. All right. Moving on to resolutions. Madam Clerk, first resolution, please.
In the Engineer's Office, resolution authorizing advertising for bids for the Lake County Roads Pavement Markings 2021 project for the Lake County Engineers Road Department, LCE project number 2021-005, bid opening August 18, 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract to Signal Service Company for the Morley, Prouty, and Pine Hill Roads Traffic Signal Upgrade Rebid Project as required by the Lake County Engineer in the amount of $159,717.55.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Tracy, I know we've all been working real hard on getting this done. Do you want to give us a little bit of background here?
So this project is an OPWC grant project. We're receiving 50% of the funding for this project. In addition to that, part of the highlights of this project is there's going to be a battery backup for the traffic signal controller. This area has a lot of power outages due to wind, squirrels. They've been chewing at the wires. The signal's about 25 years old that's out there now. So this will be a good project for us to get done, hopefully before winter comes.
Very good. Anything else for Tracy? Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plans and specifications for Fairway Pines Subdivision, Phase 3B in Painesville Township.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Dave, did you have any? Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Boy, I'm having a terrible time today.
Yes, this is it's another subdivision in Painesville Township off of Bacon Road. It's a 56 lot subdivision. The county engineer and the sanitary engineer has provided us plans and specs. And so we are asking the commissioners to consider approving this resolution, and there's 2 more resolutions under utilities.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Anything else for Dave? Thank you, Dave. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And the Utilities Department resolution rejecting the bids received on July 7, 2021 for the Lake County Solid Waste Facility Perimeter Security Fence Project 444L.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution rejecting the bids received on June 30th, 2021 for Bellflower Area Sanitary Sewer Improvement St. James Relief Project 403S.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $104,453.80 for sanitary sewers for Fairway Pines Phase 3B subdivision in Painesville Township, job number 21-18.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $145,323.20 for a water line for Fairway Pines Phase 3B Subdivision in Painesville Township, job number 21-17.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations and transferring cash within Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Operating Fund and Project Fund 596, 452S, Trunk Sewer Rehabilitation Phase 2.
Move to approve.
Second. Oop. You got it? Okay. Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations in Lake County Department of Utilities Water Operating Fund.
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid sewer and water sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract in the amount of $931,340 to Insituform Technologies LLC for Lakeshore Boulevard Sewer Lining Improvements Project 438S.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, do you want to give a little background on that?
Sure. It is in situ form, exactly right. Well done. This is one of the main trunk sewers that go to our wastewater treatment plant in Menor. It's a 24-inch sanitary sewer and a 21-inch sanitary sewer. That's about 60 years old, so it's reached the end of its useful life as it is. And the lining, what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, essentially putting that sock into the sewer, and it will create essentially a brand new sewer inside of the existing sewer. And hopefully will go another 75 to 100 years of service for us after this project's done.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Anything else for Randy? Very good. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution awarding a bid contract in the amount of $259,345 to D&M Painting Company for State Route 174 and 84 1 million gallon standpipe painting improvement project 436W.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Randy, this is pretty straightforward, but do you want to give us a little bit of background on that one as well?
It is. This is part of our capital improvement plan. Tanks typically need repainted about every 10 to 15 years. So we're typically doing one about every other year. We have 7 tanks in our system, and this one is the in most need for this year.
And this is just the exterior, not the wet interior.
Correct.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Anything else for Randy? Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In Job and Family Services Department, resolution assigning authority to Suzanne Kazar, Director of Job and Family Services, to act as the Lake County Board of Commissioners designee for approving inter-county adjustments of allocated funds.
Move to approve.
Second.
And discussion? Suzanne, this is just a standard giving you the authority to do as the title says, right? There's nothing unusual here. It's something we've done in the past.
Correct, yes, and I would seek approval from the county administrator and budget director before I accepted any funds or released any funds to other counties.
And some of that was the TANF dollars and other...
Correct, all of the programs that fall under the JFS umbrella.
Gotcha. Thank you, ma'am. Anything else? Very good. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving Lake County Department of Job and Family Services vouchers, date of warrant August 6, 2021, in the amount of $119,410.26.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution declaring the Lake County Board of Commissioners regular meeting schedule beginning August 5, 2021.
Move to approve.
I'll second that. Okay, you got it. Okay, discussion. None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing a second amendment to terminate the agreement with Point and Pay that provided financial transaction devices services to accept payments for certain county expenses.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? So we have the happy dance going on out here by our clerk of courts. There's a backstory there.
I move to approve that.
Discussion, anything you want to add to this, or should we just vote no on it? Just, yeah. You better not. Nice.
Mr. President,
Sir.
I just want to say that our Clerk of Courts, Faith Andrews, has really followed the lead of our Lake County Recorder, Becky Lynch, in optimizing her office and saving money, returning it to the county, and that she has not just taken things as they are, but continues to improve them. And this resolution is a small part of her work to make her office even more efficient. So we thank both our clerk and our recorder for joining us at this meeting, and we're grateful to help them in a small way.
Okay.
I'd like to say that I think the dance adds a great deal to her value as well. So.
Let the record reflect
Thank
the
you.
dance.
Let the record reflect. And we'd be remiss, though, if we didn't give praise to our prosecutor's office for working so closely with the clerk of courts and to Point and Pay. They've actually been a good partner in resolving some challenges that were discovered, and there was a great deal of professionalism and professional courtesies extended. It was the way business should be conducted, I have to say. So as long as everybody's getting a pat on the back. Legal?
Well, that pat on the back should not go on my back. Mike DeLeon did
fair enough.
all the work on that. Did a great job.
Very good. Thank you. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $739,758.69.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $301,694.42.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations for various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and appropriations within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
And special resolutions, resolution congratulating Paige Lusick, named an Outstanding Youth of the Year 2021 by the Ohio State University Extension of Lake County.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, indeed.
I just want to say that on behalf of the Lake County Board of Commissioners, we presented somewhat in advance these resolutions, so hopefully they pass today, to to the Outstanding 4-H Youths of the Year, including Paige Lusick. And I will say, awarding Paige was very rewarding for me because her father is firefighter Steve Lusick of Willoughby Hills, who I worked with for many years as their council person. It was wonderful to see the hard work their family has put into 4-H and farming and leadership. And all of our awardees, including McKenna Sladkey, Caitlin Speaker, they really embody the 4-H program. We're so proud of them. And once again, they've asked us to remind everyone that Head, Heart, Hands, and Health 4-H is going to be having their big auction at the Lake County Fairgrounds this Saturday. Registration beginning at 2 and the auction starting at 4. So that's an opportunity for anyone who would like to come out, bid on the poultry, livestock, and cows, and support these kids as they perpetuate and continue the tradition of agriculture in Lake County, the #1 industry in Ohio.
Well said. And just a little more clarification, the winners' names were embargoed. We really couldn't talk about it. So since this is a public meeting, it'd be really awkward to have the meeting last week, say, oh, these are going to be the winners, but it was supposed to be secret. So I'm pretty sure we couldn't tell everybody to just go, shh, don't tell them until next week. So with that being said, if there's nothing further, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Resolution congratulating McKenna Sladkey, named an Outstanding Youth of the Year 2021 by the Ohio State University Extension of Lake County.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hamachek.
Yes.
Resolution congratulating Caitlin Zwicker, named an Outstanding Youth of the Year 2021 by the Ohio State University Extension of Lake County.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hamachek.
Yes. Okay, this brings us to our departmental reports portion of our meeting. Utilities, Randy?
No additional report today.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Job and Family Services, Suzanne?
Good morning. August is National Child Support Awareness Month, and I've asked our Child Support Administrator to join me today. Our Child Support Division is one of the smallest divisions in our agency staffing-wise, but I always say that they are a small but mighty division. And I did ask Cheryl Byback to speak briefly about the Child Support Division, if you would be agreeable to that.
Very good. Thank you. Ma'am, if you would, please. Good morning.
As Susan has stated, August is National Child Support Awareness Month, and I do want to thank you for providing me with the opportunity to speak on behalf of our program. Ohio's Child Support Program serves over 1 million children in the state of Ohio. At Lake County Department of Job and Family Services, our Child Support Division provides services to families of all types, regardless of income. Our cases include cases with unmarried parents, with parents who are separated or are no longer married, with caretakers, as well as with children that are in our foster care program. In Lake County, we currently have 10,882 open cases, and in 2020, we collected $37,428,988 in our program. Through enforcement of support orders, that is what makes up the largest number of our cases and what most people are most familiar with. But we offer a variety of services at our agency. We can conduct genetic testing free of charge when parentage does need to be established for children. We conduct administrative child support hearings at our agency also to establish child support orders. We do enforce all support orders that are issued through our juvenile court as well as our domestic relations court. We work with other states when we need to for interstate establishment and enforcement. And we also can conduct administrative reviews and for modifications of cases that currently have ongoing support orders. If anyone is interested in learning more information about our program and the services that we do provide, they can contact our agency at 440-350-4000, or they can go online at the lakecountyohio.gov website where they can find us under Job and Family Services Department. I also want to mention that for federal fiscal year 2020, the State Office of Child Support recognized Lake County for having the best performance in collection on current support in the large caseload division. Our current collection percentage was 77.01%. Lake County has received this award for the last 5 consecutive years and for 14 years overall. We also received best performance in collections for cases on arrears in Lake County for large case load category, and our collection percentage rate was 81.13%, and Lake County has received this award 17 consecutive years in a row. In closing, I would like to let everyone know that as part of Child Support Awareness Month, August 4th is Wear Green Day. So if you want to show your support for our program and the children and families that we do serve, I would ask that you all wear green on August 4th. And I also want to thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jennifer, you're going to send us something over to Wear Green, right?
I will do that. I'm on it.
And I appreciate that.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. No, thank you. Excellent presentation. Anything further? Ma'am, thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Suzanne, anything additional?
Nothing additional.
So you're wearing green today to kind of get in
No, and
the
I didn't even plan that. It must have been a subconscious.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, County Administrator Jason Boyd.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Just briefly, I'm sure most folks heard about it last night. The Senate passed a bipartisan infrastructure plan of $1 trillion. I'm just starting to get my arms around what that looks like, and I'm sure Randy's association, the Commissioners Association will begin to get a better understanding. But just, hopping online this morning, I've got a summary document from the National Association of Mayors. Some highlights as I see them that would be great for the county: $110 billion for roads and bridges, $39 billion for public transit, $7.5 billion for electric vehicle charging stations. I know Lake Trans been working on that. I think you guys have an event this morning on that topic. $17 billion for ports, $25 billion for airports, and $55 billion for water and wastewater infrastructure. Obviously, this is kind of the first inning of the details trickling out. We will keep tabs on this and get a better understanding. I quite frankly have no idea what the process will be for us to get our hands on those funds. Clearly, I'm thinking ODOT. You guys all have a seat on NOACA. I'm sure that'll be a topic of interest. But just wanted to bring that to your attention. That looks like it's moving down the road. And I'm sure Tracy and Randy have a fair share of projects that we could use some of those funds toward. So, thank you.
Did you want to do a sneak preview on the old business, the opioid meeting we went to last week? I don't know if you want to touch on that, or you want me to?
I'll let you touch on that.
Okay. It's in the newspapers.
Yeah, that's fine.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Anything else for administrator now that I've had him walk away from the podium? Okay, thank you. All right, and with that, Madam Clerk.
Yes, I wanted to mention that the next Commissioners meeting is going to be Thursday, August 5th, and we changed the time, so it's going to be 2 o'clock p.m. It's not going to be at 10. So 2 o'clock p.m., August 5th.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. And legal.
No reports, Commissioner.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to old business. Do we have any old business for us? I'll jump into the, there is on the table a potential $26 billion national settlement agreement with the big three drug manufacturers. Both Ohio and New York are in excellent positions to basically come out on this on top proportionally and to serve our people. I can tell you that the governor and Attorney General Yost have worked diligently. They have what we've all bought into, the One Ohio settlement offer. The breakdown would be off the top 15% for the state of Ohio, 55% going into regional foundations that would be benefiting the populations of that region in particular, and 40% going to local governments. Again, that's the model that we're looking at. We're in a real good position here in Ohio. There's 804 million proposed just with the big three manufacturers. Of that, we're likely to get about 70% because of the way things are structured. We're very fortunate. Again, the difference between the 70 and the 100% has to do with incentives and other lingering litigation that's out there. Jason's kind of losing it back there. Did I misspeak, or am I being folksy again here? But the bottom line is we have a number of things that are in the public view, but not necessarily being well understood. This is as good as it's going to get, though. We're seeing some very positive movements there. There are a lot of safeguards in place. I will tell you, comparing this to, if I may, the tobacco settlement. New York, they were infamous back in the day. They bought golf carts. So nobody's going to be buying any golf carts. And in Ohio, I know this is near and dear to Commissioner Young. Back in the day, E-Check wound up being a direct beneficiary of the tobacco settlement somehow. So, yeah. I know how that had to be a real passion for you when that got funded.
I was so happy.
So there's, again, a number of safeguards. Jason, did you want to add to that a bit?
I just wanted to clarify my chuckle, because when we sat in that meeting last week, how they were explaining the incentives was like trying to split atoms, and it wasn't really that difficult once we had a sidebar, so that's what I was chuckling about. But I did want to point out that this doesn't interfere with our bellwether trial too, Commissioner. I don't know if you were going to get to that point as well, but the county is still part of
against the distributors, not the manufacturers.
Correct, and that is scheduled to go to trial this fall. And just for the update, that's a bellwether trial by Judge Polster that includes Lake and Trumbull counties only. So we've been working diligently for the better part of 3 years on that process with our legal counsel. So that's separate from the One Ohio settlement.
Very good. And just so you know, Jason, your chuckle does not top that of Eastlake Mayor Morley. I'd still say his chuckle at our last meeting takes the top.
I agree.
He gets the brass ring, so thank you. Although the happy dance, though, I don't think I'm ever going to forget that, Madam Clerk. That was impressive. Okay, so old business. Commissioner Young, did you have your follow-up with Mr. Weibel? I know he was wanting to sit down. You'd offered to speak with him. Is he satisfied?
I think it'd be good if we could talk to him next Thursday at about 11:15.
At our public meeting in the second public portion, I don't think
I think we have a commissioners meeting next week. At that time, our commissioners meeting is later in the afternoon.
I don't think, I'm looking to legal, I don't think we could do that.
Well, I don't know what you're going to talk about. Informational meetings are absolutely
It's just an information. He's
allowed.
going to do a little presentation for us.
But
Mr. President, I would just note, I'm not sure if you or Commissioner Young are going to be joining, but there's a Painesville City kickoff event looking at revitalization grants that I've RSVP'd to that morning because the commissioners' meetings moved. So I wouldn't be able to be there for an 11:15 meeting.
Nor would I.
There's no requirement. If you can't make it, we could either switch the time if you'd like, or we could, whatever you prefer. It's not a huge issue. He'd like to present his perspective and a group of people's perspective on the vaccines and how they're affecting folks. I think it's an interesting perspective and one that a lot of people have picked up on. One I think we should be aware of. And it would just be an informational meeting where he would simply share their perspective and we would listen. And I think we're capable of it. We would learn. So it'd just be a simple meeting. But no need for you to commit. If you can't make it, you can't make it. I understand.
Well, and
no requirements, certainly.
Just two thoughts. In the interest of time, we want to be mindful that we're committed to visit Lake Tran in the very near future. But two, if this is a presentation that's informational only, I think the ideal opportunity for him to make a presentation would be at one of our commissioners' meetings so that not just ourselves, but the public would be apprised of his perspective. So my suggestion would be we try to work with Mr. Weibel to find a commissioners' meeting that fits his schedule. Because they do rotate from 10 to 2, and sometimes they're on Tuesdays. I'm sure we can find a date that would work for him, and that way we have no issue with public meetings laws. We won't get sued by Mr. Massey. Because it's possible we might participate in a way that might cross the line from informational only if it's a really interesting topic, and so I think it's important that it happen at a meeting so we can be fully free to engage with Mr. Weibel.
That makes perfect sense. I'm sure we could reschedule.
Okay, I have to look to legal on this, and I'm very uncomfortable. We've set a standard of informational meetings. They are subject matter experts. That we are taking information from somebody who is an expert on a particular issue, and they're conveying that information to us. Somebody who is speaking from a position of knowledge, authority, someone who knows more about a subject than we do. I am very uncomfortable having somebody come here to explain to me how we have killed 129, and I'm reading from his email, which is a matter of record. I'm uncomfortable having somebody have a private meeting with the Lake County Board of Commissioners, informational or otherwise, who's going to claim that we have killed 129 people, and who, and I quote, so you have unwittingly sentenced children and families to death and permanent injury. And if I could just skip ahead to a pertinent part, but your ignorance may have killed nearly half of your Lake County constituents. I cannot conceive of a universe where anything Mr. Weibel has to say would qualify him as an expert on anything. I'm very uncomfortable with this.
I think that's at least in part a typo. But if you'd rather not attend such a meeting...
How is that a typo?
If you'd rather not attend such a meeting, I think that would be fine.
Well, if it's a typo, he repeated it. They were falsely or ignorantly told by county state and federal health agencies. That's not a typo, sir.
Where we killed how many people at the end again?
Let's see. It started off with, you have started off with an allegation of murder, 129, and at the end, okay, let me just read the entire paragraph so I'm not taking anything out of context. Do not congratulate yourselves. That was in reference to, I believe, my referring to Lake County as being a high-performing county. Do not congratulate yourselves, period. You didn't truly cure anybody, exclamation mark. But your ignorance may have killed nearly half of your Lake County constituents, period. End paragraph.
Yeah, that's where I think that is so absurd that it's, I believe it's a typo. But regardless of that, it might be good if we heard
Your
from
definition
him.
of a typo and mine are very different.
If we, could be. It might be good if we heard from him directly. But again, if you prefer not to be there, then
I don't know
I
that
can
we
certainly understand that.
Given the content, I'm looking to legal, given the context and the likely discussion, I can't imagine there not being discussions, deliberations, and decisions. And I will freely say, I am not very open-minded to accept that we've killed 129 people and we've sentenced to death nearly half the people in Lake County. I can't conceive of any...
You wouldn't be condoning that, John. That's simply his perspective, representing a group of people that I think it'd be good for us to hear from.
Mr. President, just asking Mr. Hackman, would there be any issue in Mr. Weibel, like any other member of the public, coming to a commissioner's meeting during public portion?
Absolutely not.
Then I say that's what we do.
There you go. If he wants to come to a commissioner meeting and present to us, that would be legal. And as long as he stays within due bounds, I have no objection to that. Mr. Hackman, that's acceptable? Commissioner Young, if you want to ask him to
No, that's fine.
attend an appropriate meeting. Again, I'm
Thank you.
uncomfortable with having a private meeting where... Yeah, okay. All right, moving on. Well, as you've probably figured out, there is actually a Lake Tran ribbon cutting going on, so we are trying to move forward, but giving everyone a fair shot here. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address this board in our second public? I'm sorry, I think I may have just completely jumped over new business. Is there any new business to come before this board? None? All right, second public comment. Yes, sir. Mr. Music.
John Music, 45 Coventry Drive, Painesville Township. Just to expand on the opinion I gave in the first comment. You know, remember years ago, I think it was Josh Mendel gave us the Ohio checkbook. You know,
He did bring it to Ohio. I think Indiana started it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to Ohio. And the thing about it, so people could see what taxpayer dollars would go, you know. People have to realize, you know, we say, oh, we got a federal grant, we got a state grant, we got this grant. Well, we all pay. The only difference is everybody in the country contributes to the federal, everybody in the state contributes to the state, and so forth. So it's still taxpayer dollars. And, you know, I always thought, in my opinion, that there's a lot of entities, a lot of nonprofits and so forth that receive grants. I always thought what should be done is strings attached that taxpayers can have oversight on that. If you accept grants, may it federal, state, or whatever grant it may be from a taxpayer source, that it should be open to anybody to see how that tax dollar is being spent. But like I said, I have asked a lot of questions over the years, and I met with the state attorney general office down in Columbus once and asked them questions and so forth. So the thing about it is I live by, and I have always lived by, is like, you know, accessibility. You know, we as taxpayers and residents should have accessibility, transparency, oversight, and accountability of what happens to our taxpayer dollars here in this country. And I don't care at what level, I just believe that should be done. And anybody asking questions, to ask questions is a good thing, not a bad thing. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Can I just say amen?
There you go. Anyone else in the audience? Very good. Jason Boyd, County Administrator, do we have any electronic submissions?
We do not.
Indicating none. Thank you. Okay, this brings us to the conclusion of our meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn saying.
So moved.
Second.
And discussion? None being heard. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes, thank you. This meeting stands adjourned.